Good afternoon. When was the last time you guys generally had fun? I'm not talking about blowing off steam. I'm not talking about getting drunk, going to a club, going to a pub, even hang out with your friends. I'm talking about when was the last time you really let yourself go and you maybe indulged in something what was kind of a little out there for you. Just to sort of talk about what I'm trying to get here is when I walk around, I've always been a bit of a daydreamer. I dream about myself in scenarios what I'd never be in. So I dream about myself ballroom dancing. Perhaps I'm in Mexico or wherever, Cuba, and I'm just by the bar. Perhaps I'm even with my girlfriend, and a beautiful ballroom dancer comes over to me, and I have the guts to step in. It's a bit like one of those fancies of you take on a room full of 50 guys. That's kind of a fancy when you're younger. When you're older, it tends to be more on the romantic side. So then I would do this ballroom dance, and my girlfriend would be proud of me that I was able to stand up against one of those women what just eat men alive. If you get one step wrong, the woman's looking at you with a firm face. So I have these fancies in my head, and of course that is a fancy straight out of a film. But then there are possibilities for me to do ballroom dancing. There are classes around me. There are, if I ever go somewhere, there's always opportunity to go watch it and maybe join in, and there's always somebody who has this crazy level of confidence where they're not very good, but they'll give it a go anyway, and they can make it kind of funny, and they can make it. But I've always been a person who's so serious. I actually think, as you're watching this video now, I'm actually responsible for you guys not having fun. And I think what I mean by that is I think a lot of content creators who talk about life and talk about depression, talk about not being able to have fun, I think we create this way of life. I've always been that person where I'm at the back of the room, I'm in the corner, I'm sipping a gin and tonic or something like that, and I'm talking to a select amount of people about why I don't like everybody else in the room. I've always been that person. Maybe you can call me a snob, maybe you can call me whatever. I've always been the person who's very controlling, I guess, and very, I find it hard to have fun. And I do think I'm a fun person. I actually do. I think when it comes to hanging out with me, I think I'm a person who adventures happen around me. But when it comes to, I guess, doing something new, I struggle. Part of that is obviously my upbringing as well. Like I was around a lot of guys where it would have been extremely uncool to dance with a woman, and then if they'd seen it as cool, it would have to be perfect. So there's that sort of perfectionist in my head. But just as I'm going through life, and I've just been thinking about this a lot, I've just gone back to my daydreams now. I could be walking down the side of a train track, I could be walking over a bridge, and I kind of hallucinate the person I would want to be, or the person I can be. Sometimes my imagination comes true. Like I picture myself moving country. I imagine what it'd be like. I imagine the challenges, and I think that's a pretty possibility. That possibility might be coming quite soon for me. A lot of things what I picture in my life do kind of come true. So what I believe is happening is I believe I'm sort of manifesting what I want to happen in my life, and I think my brain and my body kind of takes me a little bit toward that path. I'll give you an example. I've always wanted to meet a proper Irish family that live off the land, and my girlfriend's Irish. And the opportunity came up to go to Ireland and do some work there. And my girlfriend's going to come, and there's an opportunity to meet her family. And my girlfriend's like, oh, just looking at your schedule and it's going to be a bit rude if we don't have enough time to see them, so it's going to be a little bit rude to drop in and go. And I decided to edge myself and her towards, that sounds wrong, towards spending time with her family, because it's something I wanted. I thought it'd be really cool to meet a proper Irish family who love Ireland, and they've lived off the land, and they want to live there. That's always been kind of a dream to me. So these things do come true. The same way as like, and you see the people around you of dreams you had, and those dreams kind of come true for them. I've always wanted to live in Barcelona for a period, and I have a friend now who's literally about to go there for a month. I also know somebody else, kind of part of the family, who is living there right now. So as you grow older, you put your jealousy aside, and you put your torments aside, and you realize that people are really living dreams, and you realize that I shouldn't be walking around with my head down, even though it's raining today. I should be walking around miserable and annoyed and depressed, because I have the opportunity to do a lot of things. And you might think, as you listen to this, well that's you. I don't have the opportunity to do that. But you do, because just by putting yourself into situations, it doesn't matter what situation it is, it could be ballroom dancing, it could be climbing a mountain, it could be anything. Just by putting yourself into these situations, your life vastly opens up and expands, because you meet people. You could go on vacation, you could meet somebody who owns yachts, and then they let you go on their yacht, and then all of a sudden you got a picture on the internet of you on a yacht, and people are asking, how have you done that? You just have to put yourself out there. But to go back to having fun, I think about my own life, and I think about, sometimes I look back on stories of my old life, and I think there's a story where, I'll just briefly tell it so you understand what I'm talking about, where I was at a pub and I was in a giddy mood. I was very drunk, everybody else was in a giddy mood, and I was looking at a takeaway app, and instead of buying food, I decided to buy about 30 Kinder Eggs, because I just was amazed that a takeaway was stocking them. I imagine it would come with like a kid's meal or something like that. So we ordered 30 of these Kinder Eggs, and we were bringing them to the pub where everybody was chilling. Everybody was like pumping their fist in the air, looking forward to these Kinder Eggs. And I forgot to put the details in to send it to the pub because I was drunk. I sent it to my parents' house, which was just down the road. And a guy knocked on the door, and the guy had one arm. So there's now a one-armed man knocking on the door of my parents' house, waking my parents up, this is about near midnight, and saying, eggs, I've got eggs for you. And my parents were just like, what the fuck is happening? And eventually my mum found out that it was for me, and then I came and met the guy. I think the guy thought the whole thing was a wind up, and I took the eggs. And I remember going to the pub, and I was like, this guy with one arm gave me 30 eggs, and everybody in the pub had forgot what the plot line was. They forgot about the eggs, and they were like, what are you on about, this guy with one arm? And it was just, there's this whole thing. And at the time when I was living that, it wasn't actually fun, because I was in trouble with my parents. I felt really bad for the guy who clearly was struggling. He thought people were taking a piss out of him, and it was a waste of money. But then when I look back on it, it's an interesting story, and it's a story where myself and my family, or anybody I tell, we get sort of like a chuckle out of it. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of one of those surreal moments what happen. So there's that what's going off. There's in the moment and at the time when you're having fun with your friends, you're on vacation or whatever you're doing, and you can't really enjoy it till you go back. I'm one of those people that never really enjoy a vacation until I come home, until I think about it. So I've been really thinking about how I've never been one to enjoy life. I want to do things with life, and I want to go to shop, and I want to get a drink, but I only want to get a drink, and I want to see what it tastes like. And I taste it, and then I'm like, oh, okay. And then there's people what review drinks and they're so passionate about it, and there's people what, my girlfriend, she loves buying new food, she's really excited about it. I just don't have that excitement. I've never really had that. Even things what I really passionately want to do, I'm like, oh, okay, like there's something coming up in a few weeks what I've been building to do for maybe a year now, and it's going to be a big part of my life. And I'm just like, kind of, it's happening. And I think there can be a little bit of something good to that, but it's nothing to do with being spoiled by opportunities or anything like that. I've always just been the same. I've never really, and obviously a lot of this comes from upbringing, I've never really been able to enjoy anything. And as I look around, I realise we are not able to enjoy anything as humans right now. We're just not. we're just not necessarily enjoying our time. We're kicking off and we're appearing like we're having fun. We're taking pictures online and appearing like we're having fun. But deep down, I can see behind everybody's eyes there's this suffering and there's this. Can we joke about that? There's no real joy. There's, the closest I've ever had this month to like actual fun was me and my girlfriend were in an argument, and I decided to do a technique where I just agreed with everything she said, and it completely followed. She was like, "What about this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you're completely right." And she was like, "What?" And then she went on again with something else. "But how about this?" And she kept going on, and it just made me laugh so much. I was literally, I could not stop myself from laughing, and that's kind of the first time I was having fun and I was kind of enjoying myself. You just kind of being silly and just playing with the elements around you. So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is I challenge everybody here to break out their own shackles and try and have some fun this year. I mean, if you are going to go traveling, maybe just book your flights, don't book your hotel, and just do something random. Just walk around and just try and do something different. And if there is something you want to do, and if you're a guy and you feel like, obviously it's extremely macho to do ballroom dancing because you got to be extremely ballsy to handle a woman like that. But if it is something you want to do, then let's try it. And this is, I would rather dive out of a plane. I would rather do anything than do ballroom dancing. Is the absolute, I've always described myself as an introvert who can be extroverted, is the absolute hardest thing I could ever do. If you ever see me do ballroom dancing in my socials or anything like that, you know this is the ballsiest thing, the bravest thing I've ever done with myself. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I guess I mean, life is always going to be difficult, and life is always going to be weird and a mess. But I'm kind of challenging everybody. Once I can hear footsteps, I'm going to challenge everybody to see if they can actually kick that, and see if we can actually have some fun, and actually enjoy ourselves, and actually let go and just do something different and just be somewhere different. Okay, have a good week, enjoy yourselves, have a good life, and ciao.